Do you anticipate a time delay in terms of outcomes in the work, because obviously certain legislation isn't in place if we were to crash out on a
I think a lot of the mechanisms that have been described to you will be slower. So access to criminal records will be slower. You've been through this in the previous session. The use of the Interpol I-24/7 will require double keying by the member states. The prevailing member states will obviously still be sharing information on the SIS2 system, but we will then ask them to share information with us on the I-24/7 system, which will require double keying. It will also be subject, because there will be two systems, it will be subject to data adequacy issues. So there's no doubt that many of the measures will be clunkier and will be slower. Ultimately, it's our ambition and our desire that they will work, pending the United Kingdom's government's political developments with the EU. Clearly, we are apolitical on the issue of the European exit. Our interest is as law enforcement professionals, protecting people, detecting offenders, and we enjoy measures now that are well tested and work. And we would just like to see that whatever happens, that sort of package of measures is ultimately replicated.
Have you considered how this will affect the morale of staff and how you would manage this?
Sorry, could you?
Have you considered how this would affect the morale of your officers, really, and your other staff, and how this will affect people's day-to-day work in terms of how they feel about their work, the delay? It'd be a difficult. It sounds like it would be a very difficult adjustment.
Well, I'm proud and pleased to say that the officers and staff who work for the Police Service of Northern Ireland have a very strong public service ethos. And whilst, of course, there may be some frustration if something takes 60 days as opposed to the current 6 days, there may be some frustration with that, but our public service ethos will carry us through, and probably pressures will be felt in other ways as a consequence of the European exit for the Police Service of Northern Ireland, depending on what the border looks like, for example.
Thank you.